So I thought I would make a perhaps long, rather difficult video today uh, in my 6 year old's room, nonetheless, about some of the SP stuff that I talk to clients about and that seems relevant to talk about because I just made available the recording of the SP and Self Concept course, which I hosted live last month and which you can now purchase. I'll put the link below. But if you're new to my channel or are new to my take or my approach when it comes to this SP stuff, SP meaning specific person or special person, if you don't know that, manifesting a specific person into your life, a romantic partner. If you're new here, what I have to say is it's very bitter medicine compared to the quote unquote advice you hear in the SP community, the law of assumption community, the law of attraction community, the manifesting community at large about how to quote unquote manifest a romantic partner into your life. And it's bitter medicine because bitter medicine, in my opinion, is the solution you need. The effective solution to, first of all, and primarily to feel better about yourself. And secondly, to actually see yourself, have a romantic relationship that works sustainably in your life. Because what I've observed in this crazy manifesting community when it comes to specific person advice is that it's all, fairy tales and popcorn, folks. It's entertainment. It's not real. It's not how real romantic, sustainable relationships work, at least for the vast majority of people. Don't think you're the rare exception. Chances are you are not. Most of the great relationship advice I've heard over the years and tried to apply into my own life and have hopefully helped others apply into their life has nothing to do with any of this manifesting nonsense in terms of attracting somebody into your life. Because here's the thing, here's some of the bitter medicine. Once you have attracted that partner into your life, is when a lot of the real work starts. For instance, yesterday, I dropped my daughter off at school and I forgot to give her backpack. And I had it on my back and I was walking away, and by the time I realized I couldn't, you can't go into schools anymore a lot of time. I knew my daughter was going to be upset, and I got home, I told my wife what happened, and my wife was furious at me. Furious. Even though to me it wasn't a big deal, I know emotionally it was a big deal to my wife, understandably, because she knew my daughter would be upset. And it was resolved. The teacher and the school called us and we figured it out relatively quickly. And by the end of the day, it was a total non-issue. But that situation between my wife and I easily could have blown out of control if we both hadn't done a lot of work on ourselves and a lot of communication, talking with each other over the years about situations just like that. And guess what? Situations like that, mundane, everyday, boring stuff that provides stress in our lives, happens to everybody. And it happens to everybody all the time. There's no fairy tale relationship waiting at the end of the rainbow for you. Relationships inherently are messy. Again, perhaps there are some exceptions. But I don't really see them. And I don't really believe the SP coaches and Law of attraction, relationship gurus who pretend otherwise. I think they are selling you horse shit. And I'm interested in helping you feel better and actually attract the person you want into your life. And that person, if you know my stuff, you know what I'm going to say. That person that you want to attract into your life, that you really want to attract into your life, is yourself. Is yourself. Is not another person. That romantic partner will, in all likelihood, come, if you want a romantic partner, if you do this SP work and recognize that you yourself are the person you really want in your life and need to have in your life. But that other person, that romantic partner, is secondary to your own special personness, which you must recognize more thoroughly, in my opinion, in order to attract and cultivate a good relationship with somebody else. And we all do this to some degree already. We already recognize on some level that we are the specific person we want, that we really want, that ultimately it's just us, ourselves, that we really want to be okay with. And that if we're okay with ourselves, we're much more capable of being okay with other people and having loving relationships with other people. But in application, it can be hard to do this. We get swept away with the fairy tales. We get swept away with this idea that it's going to just be this fairy tale romantic ride. And we get to experience that some too. But then we need to experience the mundane, beautiful reality of being in a relationship. And that involves self-work. The person out there that you want externally, you're projecting all your own bullshit onto them. And that, you want to recognize that and then work with that. So this approach, is not, it's not for a lot of people who are interested in the SP community and manifesting an SP, because it's the truth and it's bitter medicine, and it takes maturity to do it. It takes maturity to be in a loving romantic relationship with somebody. And I can give solid relationship advice because I don't have to include any of this manifesting advice with it. The manifesting advice can be great, can be very, very helpful, but it's just a small aspect of, finding a partner and then getting into a relationship that works. It's a very small aspect of it. And you don't need it, honestly. You don't need it. What you need is yourself and your integrity and your honesty and your openness and your ability to look at somebody and communicate, not necessarily in words, but to communicate, I like you. I'm interested in you. I'd like to get to know you more. And you need the ability to listen to the other person. And you learn how to do all that stuff better and better by working on yourself. Not by affirming over and over again, he now loves me, he now loves me, he now loves me, she now loves me, she now loves, come on. That's grade school horseshit. I suggest you stop looking at this whole manifest and SP thing as being legitimate and real. I'm going to read from the Richard Dotz book that we've read from several times, Dissolve the Problem. Because I think it's relevant, this passage I'm going to read, to looking at SP stuff. Most of our SP issues are self-inflicted wounds when we're trying to manifest a romantic partner. We just forget about all that. Stop trying to manifest fucking anything when it comes to a relationship in terms of using all these dumb techniques, because most of the techniques are dumb unless they have some kind of emotional intelligence backing them. If you're affirming a lot but backing it with emotional intelligence, that does something. If you're visualizing or journaling and backing it with emotional intelligence, that does something. It becomes a helpful technique. But just doing the technique and bringing the person into your life, because the technique is powerful enough to bring the person into your life some of the time. But just getting that person there doesn't mean that then everything's going to be a bed of fucking roses. Stop thinking about your SP issue manifesting a romantic partner in this way. Dissolve that problem. The SP you really want is you, and you already have you. Again, that's this SP and self-concept course. That's what we go into detail about. You're the solution you're looking for. And you already have you. So there's no problem there. So there's really no need for a solution either. Just recognize you yourself are already enough. And be the loving person that you want to be, that you know you are, that you already feel you are. And then just convey that to the world naturally. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would do to yourself. Love yourself. And if you work on loving yourself and recognize that you already are a loving person, it's very easy and natural to express that love to others, including a partner that you would like to attract into your world, a romantic partner. Again, we go into much more detail about this in the course, but this gives you a taste, as do my other SP videos. I'll put a link above to the SP playlist I've created with a lot of other videos along these lines. But the course goes more in depth about self-love and, basically dissolving this SP problem we've created for ourselves. So let me read this passage from Richard from Dissolve the Problem. I'll put a link below to Dissolve the Problem, the great Richard Dodd's book. Because this passage might be helpful. It might not. It might not resonate for you right now, but I think it applies to so much stuff in our life, including, romantic issues, relationship issues. Richard writes, in my early days of doing this work, I cannot stay in this evolved state of consciousness for long. I allowed myself to be overcome by negative feelings of worry and fear. I allowed myself to be swayed by physical evidence in what I observed in my outer reality. I allowed myself to be influenced by the opinions of others. I made every single mistake a beginner can make, not realizing that all this led to a misdirection of universal energy, keeping the problem in its place. I spent 10 years wondering why the results eluded me, not realizing that I was the one keeping everything in its old place. It was only until I found a way to stay in that alternate reality for longer periods each time that my outer reality began to shift. At first, I could only remain in this alternate reality for a few short minutes as I meditated. Gradually, I managed to mentally slip into this alternate reality even as I was engaged in my daily activities. I slipped into this alternate reality for longer and longer periods each time, even though my physical surroundings remained the same. I knew I was no longer the same person on the inside. I was changing my own circumstances from the inside out. While it seemed like nothing was happening for a short while, I knew that everything was shifting just beneath the surface of my reality. I could feel my energy shifting and my perceptions of the issue improving. My problems no longer worried me as much when I thought about them. This gave me the inner confirmation I needed to continue on my newfound path. Again, that's Richard Dawson, Dissolve the Problem. Now, this alternate reality he's talking about in regards to SP work, the alternate reality is recognizing and feeling that you're the SP. The alternate reality is applying, you could say, the golden key, like Emmett Fox talks about it, or the absolute method that we often discuss. Thinking of God, thinking of love, thinking of wholeness, thinking of the universe, thinking of peace, instead of the issue, instead of your romantic, quote-unquote, problem. Going to that alternate place where everything already is fine, where you already are the SP, you already are one with the universe, you already are love, you already are giving love, you already are abundance. And learning how to operate more from there, staying there more of the time, relaxing into that, not even trying hard or anything like that, but just realizing you already are the one. You already are okay. You already are the SP. And if you recognize that, you naturally become a very, very attractive personality if you want to be in a relationship and are not in one. People are drawn to that. It's not about your physical features or, anything else. It's the right people that you want to meet, some of them are going to be drawn to you because of that. Because you're bringing out your oneness, your godliness, your love into the world. And not many grown-ups do this with any type of consistency and openness. It's a very attractive quality. So, yeah, we go into this a lot more in the SP and Self-Concept course. If you'd like to purchase it, the link is below. If you have any questions for me or like one-on-one coaching about this topic where we go deep about this stuff, I can be reached at radicalcounselor.com. I hope this was helpful.